Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you my April TBR. March came and went and I didn't end up putting out many videos over the month, mainly because I've been super busy every weekend with gymnastics and stuff and birthdays and all of that. So it took a lot of my time and effort and energy, so I haven't really been filming a lot. I have been filming something, but I haven't had time to actually sit down and edit my videos, so hopefully some of them can come up over the next coming weeks. We will see, but right now I'm focusing on my plans for April. I know there's a lot of things going on in April, but I have decided not to take part in any of the readathons necessarily. I am participating probably in Dewey's, which I think is the last weekend in April, if I'm not having any other things that I have to do, so I will participate as I usually do. March also ended up being a month where I didn't stick to my TBR plans in terms of what I've read at home. I did read the first 2 books from my Harlequin project and I started on the 3rd one, and it's not because they're bad or anything, it just wasn't in the mood to read that kind of romance. And then in the middle of the month, T.L. Swan came out with a collection of 4 extra epilogues from her Miles books called Miles Ever After, and I read that, and once I finished reading that I wanted to reread like some of the books, and I reread the Stopover and the Takeover instead, and so that took the majority of my time in the end of March. I think Happily Ever After came out, or Miles Ever After came out in the 16th of March or something like that. Yeah, so change of plans. But I do have 7 audiobooks on my list, and I have 3 books currently, and I am also going to be spinning a wheel to determine 2 more books, because I decided why not just spin the wheel now and then I can get excited about the book and see how that goes. And then if I finish these books, we'll see if I have time to spin some more. But right now I have plans to read 3 books and then we'll see what happens. I'm still working on Sword of Darkness by Kinley McGregor, but me and Shannon have both been making progress. We have read 2 more chapters from this, so I expect I will finish it over the next coming weeks, because we have started it now, and I think that we'll be finishing it now. But the audios that I want to read are mostly my Stacking the Series, and then I have a couple of other things. We have Reunion in Death by J. Robb, which is the longest series that I'm working on in my Stacking the Series project. It is book 13 or 14. I think it must be 14 in this series, and I have really enjoyed being back in this world, or in this series and world, and I'm very excited to see where this one will go. So really happy for that. Then we have Bountiful by Serena Bowen. This is book, I've read books 1, 2 and 3, and I think book 4 was Brooklyn Air, which is the one I read all the way back in June or July last year. So I think this must be book 5 in the book Brooklyn Air series, and it has a different cover than the other books, so I don't know what to make of that, but I am looking forward to reading it nonetheless, and we'll check it out. I also have read Fair Isles and Fortunes by Nancy Warren. This is book 7 maybe in the Vampire Knitting Club series, and I'm really looking forward to reading the Nancy Warren, the Vampire Knitting Club book. The last and final audio book I have for my Stacking the Series is Royally Matched by Emma Chase. I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. I kind of liked the first one, and looking forward to see what this one will be about. And then I have The Sum of All Kisses by Julia Quinn. This is book 3 in the Smythe Smith quartet. I decided I was in the mood to read some historical romance, so I needed to put on a historical romance, and this is the next one in that series. It would be nice to finish that over the year as well. Then I put on a book by an author I've never read from before. It is Heat Exchange by Shannon Stacy. I remember seeing this in one of Shannon Ridler's videos, and I think I've also seen Sarah talk about the author, some books from this series. but I might be wrong about that. But has been interested in reading it, but I decided to pick it up now. And then I finally finished 4 Past Midnight by Stephen King, so I'm going to try and see if I can finish or read through Needful Things. This is a book that I'm really looking forward to reading by Stephen King, and I have some people seem to be really fond of this one, but I have no idea what it's about. So those are my audios that I want to read, and in terms of physical or ebooks, I have 3 books on it right now, and then we're going to do 2 spins. First up, I am going to be reading Poison Promise by Jennifer Estep. This is book 11 in the Elemental Assassin series. Then I have Maud by Tom Pratchett. I never got around to this one, which is honestly surprising, because I was really looking forward to doing the reread, but then I reread the Miles books instead, but I do want to reread it, so I am putting on in April again. And then I also have The Casanova by T.L. Swan. I think this will be the last one that I want to reread, because I didn't love the do-over, the last book in the series, very much. And Miles Ever After, the short story collection with all of the epilogues, also reconfirmed for me that they are not my favorite characters at all, and I prefer the other 3 books way more. I've said it before, The Takeover and The Casanova are my 2 favorites, so I'm really looking forward to reading The Casanova. That's why I want to reread it, to make sure that, and also I really enjoyed that story, but more on that in my March wrap-up. Also, apologies for me if I seem to be a little bit off. I have had a cold kind of thing since Friday, and so I have a sort of phlegm in my throat. And the neighbor is also working on the house, so if you can hear something, that's probably what you can hear. So let's start out by spinning the genre wheel. So first up, I have to pick a horror or thriller. Okay, we'll see. I don't know. Okay, then we have the age group wheel. I don't know how much I have horror thriller related as middle grade or YA, but we will check what we get here. So middle grade horror thriller. Okay, I will see if I have something. If I don't, then we'll spin that wheel again, or maybe I'll check my Kindle. Okay, I'm not sure about this one, but I think that at least his other series, the series of Unfortunate Events series, I would reckon I would put that under the horror thriller genre without it being like super, but for that age range for children's, you know. So I don't know if I could fit this in to that genre. So I think I'm gonna put that on. Otherwise, Elsa Sculptor are very pleasant, but I also think that this is more of a young adult than it is middle grade. But I think it's sort of a blend. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna look more into it, because I'm gonna read one of these 2, I think, for that prompt. Let's do another spin. I think if we get an adult fantasy now, that would actually be great. I'm kind of in the mood for that. One more. A romance. I do have a lot of romance on my plate already, but let's see what I get. Let's take the age group. I don't have any middle grade romances, so if that's been picked. Adult romance, okay. I think I'm gonna put on The Greek Children's Doctor by Sarah Morgan. This is very short, but it's medical romance, and it's like only 85 pages long. And because I'm in such a fantasy mood, I'm gonna put on an adult fantasy. But which one do I put on? I was sort of in a mood to read some Brandon Sanderson mainly, and it's because I think I've seen him float around because he's coming out with a bunch of new stuff. And so I'm putting on Elantris. I know it's a quite longer book, but it's the first of his books. It is first, so I want to read it before I dive further into all of the Sanderson series, also because people think that this is not the best one. And I know it might seem weird that I want to read this, but I do want to read all of the Cosmere books. And I think they say that you shouldn't read it as the first one, because it will scare the people away from him, but I don't think it's going to be that bad, because I also know people who really love this book. A lot of people recommend starting with Mistborn or Warbreaker, which I think is a good place, but I want to read this now, and then I think I'm going to just read them in publication order, sort of like that, because I think there's a couple of things that happens in some of the other series that you can sort of see references to. So I'm going to figure out what that entails from now on, but I'm going to read Elantris first. So I'm going to put that on my TBR. So I think I've established that this will be my stack of books for the month, plus my ebook, 2 ebooks, so I definitely have a lot on my plate. But I do have this next week off from work, so I'm hoping that I can get through some pages of maybe this one already. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this is everything for me today. Let me know in the comments down below what you have of plans for April. Are you participating in any of the readathons? I know there's the Aurelium magical readathon that's going on, Spring Equinox, I think that's what it's called. And I know there's Amazon April, hosted by Sarah, and I think there's probably some other readathons that I haven't thought about yet. Anyway, this is everything I have for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.